right.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 5, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait. What's that in Spanish?
Oh my gosh. Cinco.
Okay, good. For our Spanish listeners.
La episode cinco. That's way
That's the only...
way off.
That wasn't even close.
I'm sure it's very close. And feel free to angrily tweet at me about that.
At Jack Austin? No, I don't know.
Oh, it's not at Jack Austin. What is it at?
I don't know.
I am your host, Jack Austin, by the way. With me, as always, Robert Lamb.
Always here.
Always here. Always ready to give more information about his brave, courageous work walking across this great country of ours. By the way, you can hit me on Twitter at CadillacJack727 just because I had to get that out. But I just realized, and we were having a conversation right before I hit the old record button, that I haven't heard the intro music to this podcast.
Yeah.
But at this point, if you're here and it's episode 5,
You like it.
it's got to be pretty great.
It's got to be pretty good.
You got to love it.
It's not anything to write home about, but like, what would you write home about?
Right. Anymore, who's going to pull out that letter and write it and mail it right at home?
Now that you bring that up, I don't think I ever wrote a letter on my walk.
That's what I was going to follow
Not
it
even
up
one
with.
postcard,
Thanks for stealing that from me. Not one postcard.
Not one postcard. My mom probably would have liked a postcard,
Probably.
but I didn't do it.
Did you even collect any postcards or anything like that?
I didn't even talk to my mom. No, I'm kidding.
I don't even know who she is.
No, I didn't collect anything. I didn't need to carry anything more.
Right. But
I
a
know,
postcard? A postcard?
Well, you said collect
Come on,
them like
man.
I'm taking a whole bunch or something.
Well, I mean,
Like one from every
once
state.
once a state would have been not terrible. How many states did you cross through?
Come on, you gonna make me count right now?
I am.
Okay, Washington.
In alphabetical order.
No, not doing it.
Sorry.
Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Nebraska. I think from Nebraska was Illinois,
Whoa.
Kentucky, right?
Whoa.
No, Missouri. Missouri,
Okay,
Illinois.
I was about
Sorry,
to
yeah,
say.
not Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. So 13.
Alabama, Georgia, Florida.
Yeah, I went through Georgia.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I cut over. I could have went down to
I was
the
about to say
Panhandle.
you lengthened that walk on purpose.
Kind of. I was trying to get over to US 19
Gotcha.
and walk down that. It just seemed like a lot easier.
Because the Florida Panhandle is in with Alabama, so you could have just
yeah, I could have went straight down.
Whatever.
Yeah, why not hit
Hey,
one more
You know
state?
what? I'm not cool. I'm not cool.
So that was 13, right? 13?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and you
Close enough.
couldn't have picked up 13 postcards to give a lifelong memory
Listen,
to your worried
okay,
father who's
one-
back at home crying his eyes out.
One postcard?
Where's my sweet baby boy?
Listen, one postcard maybe doesn't weigh that much. 13 of them? Now you're adding some weight to the pack,
Sure.
which I'm still like rolling, by the way. It's
Right.
not
So
on my
the
back.
pack that you're not carrying is going to get way, way heavy
yeah.
with
yeah.
the postcards. Got it. Got it.
Whatever.
All right.
Whatever.
Any more? This is a question from Twitter from Cadillac Jack 727. Any other lazy habits you pick up while walking across the
yeah. Wait a second. That name, I know it sounds familiar.
Who is
Jack.
that?
Somebody just mentioned that recently.
Yeah.
No, no, just that. I didn't want to. This was actually something that my mom and other people would always say. Why don't you take more pictures? Why don't you upload more to Facebook? And
Yeah.
actually, I had a bad signal for a while in Washington, and I couldn't figure out why because we were still around like small towns and stuff. But I realized that. And this happened like 3 weeks after we were walking. I just turned off my phone and restarted it, and I had signal for the rest of Washington.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, oh man, like for 3 weeks, like the first 3 weeks of me walking, I only had signal like twice when I I had to like link up to Wi-Fi when we were at Starbucks.
Yeah.
It just wasn't working. Like my 4G wasn't working at all, and it was just because my phone just needed a recharge. I couldn't believe that. I was like, what a waste. I thought I was like out in the sticks, and then maybe that's
Right.
why it wasn't picking up. But Tony and Cody always had signal. I'm like, what's going on? What's with this? But I just restarted my phone and it worked. I'm like, I should have did that a long time ago.
Yeah. I was about to say, it's not like you were walking through the states with a prepaid phone.
Right. But I
paid
didn't
for 6 minutes on my phone, which equals to 3 pictures. I don't know the conversion rate, but I'm going to stay conservative.
Still cost money.
Yeah.
No, I didn't take I took a lot of pictures on my phone, but I didn't always upload them to Facebook or like even really like talk too much about the walk on Facebook because Tony was already doing the blog.
Yeah.
Like at this point, I think I don't even know if he actually wrote a blog yet because we still haven't like really stopped
Well, you said
anywhere.
you said that he started it in Linden.
In Linden, I think he might have started the first one. But after
so all
that,
he wrote in there was, "We started walking."
we started walking, and we are on day 2.
Right.
Yeah, and I just figured because of that, I would just link people to that, and they could watch that. But I know my mom just kept saying, post more pictures, and to me it was like I wanted to enjoy the walk. I didn't want to like try to upload a picture every day, and not everything was like a view. Like it wasn't all beautiful.
That would have just taken forever to snap a picture and hit upload to Facebook. That would have been just...
Listen, it takes me out of the experience, man. It takes me out of the experience. That's how I roll.
Honestly, there's a band that I used to work at State Theater downtown St. Petersburg, and I saw millions and millions and millions of shows, which is possible.
Mm-hmm.
And the one band that I really, really liked was Clutch. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Electric Worry?
Electric Worry, those guys. They were super cool. Got to meet all of them too. Really nice.
Yeah.
But one thing, like right before the show started, he was like, "Please put your phones down, people. Enjoy this.
Just enjoy it. Yeah.
Enjoy the show. Sit back, relax. There's no seating. Stand there and relax."
Well, that's kind of how I feel about a lot of things. Like I've gone on vacations. I've gone to LA. Like recently, I go to Universal Studios all the time. But I don't need to take a picture of everything that I'm doing. I'll take like a couple or something, but I feel like it takes you, like even when I go to concerts, I don't want to sit there and record them on my phone because if I ever go, I'm never going to go back and like watch that one song on my phone that I recorded. If I want to see something, I'll just go on YouTube and watch it.
I did that. I'm
Really?
guilty of that. I went and saw
a lot of people do it.
My buddy invited me to a Chevelle concert, and I was there in like perfect seats.
Right.
And I recorded this song that I love so much, and I've since deleted it and not even watched it.
That's what I'm saying. But a lot of I used to do that too. Like I used to record stuff when I went to concerts or like comedy shows. I would take a lot of pictures. And I'm like, it's just not worth it. I'd rather just sit there and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I felt about the walk. Like I did upload pictures every once in a while, but my mom wanted me to do it every day. I'm like, I don't want to do it every day. I kind of want to just enjoy this and you know.
If you looked at my social media, you'd think I didn't exist before I had children and got married.
That's now you take all the pictures.
Now, I mean, my wife is so super hot, and I love her so much.
You just have
so
to.
I'm always taking pictures of her. Stop.
You're embarrassing
You're
me.
hot. Shut up. And my kids do enough stupid stuff to make Jackass 4.
So you just love.
So I'm like, here we go.
That's why, like, on Facebook, most of the time I'm not uploading pictures. It's usually just, like, a sarcastic comment about what's happening in the world or something. Other than that, I'm not posting a lot. But I tried to post every once in a while, especially on the walk. Because I knew I was doing that. I was like, I should post, like, when something interesting happens. So I tried to do that. I just didn't do it every day. I felt like I just didn't like the idea of walking and then being like, let me stop here and take a
Hang
nice
on,
picture.
boys.
Yeah,
Let
1
me
second,
take a
guys.
photo.
But Tony did bring his heavy-duty camera, like his nice whatever type it was, and he took a lot of pictures, and he uploaded them to the blog and stuff, so I was like, that's enough.
Yeah.
I'll look at those later.
I'll just be one with my animal spirit.
Yeah. I wanted to be one with the road.
Yeah.
Country roads, take me home.
To a place you belong.
John Denver.
West Virginia. All right.
Mountain Mama.
All right, we're not doing that
No,
anymore.
we're not. We won't sing the whole thing.
The album will be on Patreon.
And so we'll figure you're not going to donate with that.
So I was like, oh, geez, let me get out the debit card with that one.
Let me pull up. I was going to... Oh, so I think I finished with day 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
Which was... And by the way, like, I only know, like, the first week, I can kind of tell you day to day what we did.
Yeah.
But then after that, it's going to be me kind of just randomly going, then this happened, then I think this happened a couple days later, and then a month later this happened. It's going to be a little bit more drawn out. This, I just remember, like, the very beginning. Just because a lot of stuff happened, a lot of interesting stuff. So, like, the third day was interesting. It was, like, the first time we actually met somebody that was, like, pretty cool. And I think we were heading down. We were like outside of Bellingham, which is a bigger city. It's like the biggest city north of Seattle.
So we've had Blaine, Linden, and Bellingham.
Yeah, we walked through Linden and we were heading down whatever stretch of road that is.
So Washington just names their cities after what I imagine country rock stars or Christian rock stars would be.
Yeah, pretty much. Linden.
I love that.
Yeah.
Linden, Blaine, and what?
Bellingham.
Bellingham. Oh,
that's more
Bellingham.
Like, that's Bellingham.
Bellingham
is a pretty,
would be
that's a
the guy who praises his name. All right.
Bellingham. But
Love
we weren't even in there. We actually went to you know what? Now I'm gonna like look it up on the blog because I want to know what the actual name was. It was this like little. That's what it was. It's a place called Bellwood Acres. We were walking down this. It was a busy street, and I think Tony and Cody were getting tired. And I'm not saying that I'm like strong or anything. I wasn't carrying my backpack, so like I could walk a little bit longer because it didn't affect me because I didn't carry
it's not on your back.
Yeah, it's not on my back. So they were like, "Hey, let's take a break and get lunch." So I'm like, "That's cool." And Tony pointed to this place. It said Bellwood Acres, and it's like this big farmhouse, kind of like big barn looking place.
Yeah,
and it just said like free games, good food, like all this kind of stuff. So we're like, all right, let's check it out. Like we don't know anything about it,
right?
So we went in there, and they had like, I think we all got like a burger. But by the way, like this is day 3 and we're still eating like it's just normal. Like it's not like we're really struggling yet.
Yeah.
So we all got like a burger there, and they had a distillery on the other side.
Yeah.
And
I think I saw this picture.
Yeah. So like that's the actual distillery. We went in like after we ate, they had like cornhole and a bunch of like board games and stuff like that. And we kind of just hung out there. We charged some of our stuff, and then they told us, "Hey, why don't you check out the distillery?" So we went over there, and the guy who worked there, he's like this younger guy, like our age.
Right.
His name was Jesse, and he's like, "Dude, I've been working in this distillery and doing this kind of stuff for years." He's like, even before like, you know, I even really drank and stuff like that. He's like, I just learned how to do it, and I'm like pretty good. And actually, their stuff, the Bellwood Acres stuff, is starting to win like awards.
Yeah.
And it's for like best vodka, best flavored vodka, but best. I think it was the gin. Gin got like awarded. He's like, we go to different like not conferences, but like
festivals.
Yeah, festivals where they like rate. You bring like your type of
Right.
whatever alcohol, and they do like ratings.
You
and
go to
everything.
a competition to get somebody to crush your dreams.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like,
And then
you
you're like,
go there
"Ah."
and you think your chili is
Yep.
just like slap your mother
And
chili.
it's not even close.
And you show up and they're like, we'll stick with Wendy's.
Yeah. Wendy's chili is number 1.
Yeah, you have been disqualified from this competition for the next 3 years.
because it tastes too much like Wendy's. Damn it.
All right, so anyway, he's talking about your gins and vodkas.
Yeah, so he gives us a taste test of like all these different ones, and we're trying it all. We're telling him like what we're doing and stuff. He's like, "That's awesome." He's like, "You know what? Let me give you guys a free bottle like for your way." We're like, "Oh shit!" Like, yeah, definitely. So he's like, "Tell me what bottle you want." It was just like a smaller bottle, but he was like, usually it's like $30 something or whatever. He's like, "Yeah, go ahead." So he signed the bottle and everything like that. So like, this is awesome. He gives it to us. I put it in my pack since I'm not carrying it. And they were like, "You can put it in your pack." I'm like, "All right, that's fine." So I put it in there. And then he goes, "And by the way, I live in Bellingham. So if you guys get to Bellingham, if you guys want, you can stay at my place with me and my roommate." So we're like, "Oh, shit." Like,
He shoots, he scores.
Yeah. So we're like, "All right, definitely, man." So he's like, "Yeah, he gave us his number. And he's like, just text me when you guys are in Bellingham." And he's like, "I get off at this time. I'll meet you there." So we did. We went to Bellingham. We walking down the like downtown streets of Bellingham, found his place, his roommate. We meet him. They let us take like showers, so we all take showers
Together, yeah.
all at the same time. We didn't want to waste their water.
All 5 of you.
Yeah,
Right.
all 5 of them. They invited some neighbors.
Yeah.
We all just tried to fit in that
Sure,
tub.
sure.
Yeah. No, so we all take showers, and then after that, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go," because I think it was. I could be wrong. I think it was like a weekend night. So they're like, "Hey, we're going to go hang out with friends. You guys can either stay here and sleep or whatever, because we know you're going to start walking tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or you can join us and everything." And we're like,
Let's
"That's cool."
Go party.
Yeah, we're like, "Yeah, why not? We'll go." We're just like, we're not going to drink too much because we want to wake up early. And he's like, "That's fine." He's like, and you know what? I'll pay for it. You guys don't have to worry about it. So him and his friends, we met up with like a few more of their friends, and they just bought us beer, and we just kind of hung out downtown Bellingham.
And you guys begrudgingly took it.
And we just were like, "No, dude, stop giving us, stop. Hey, this one's empty."
Right, yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, but yeah, it was really cool. We just hung out with them, talked about like what we did, and then the next morning we got up and they even made us breakfast in the morning.
Wow.
They like were doing making bacon and stuff. He's like, "Yeah, take as much as you want."
Must have been a great shower.
It was good. It was a good shower. They liked it so much, man. They were willing to buy us beer and bacon.
Yeah, beer and bacon.
Beer and bacon.
So you're not even out of the first date, and you've met your first really super cool person.
Yeah, 3 days in.
And your
It was 3
first
days.
really skeptical person.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was interesting.
But I assume you met more cool people than uncool people.
I never had a bad situation really with anybody that showed up or like talked to me. I never had like a bad interaction.
Except for that whole Las Vegas bit, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But no, most of the people I met were really nice, really cool. A lot of people would just stop to the side of the road, give me water, give me whatever. Like it was nice. So this was like the first time, and I remember after that day when we were walking, like we left his house and everything, we were talking about how like this is really cool. We hope that the rest of the trip is kind of like this. We know it's not. I was like, don't get your hopes up though, because when we're walking through like Wyoming and shit, we're not going to hit anything.
Yeah.
But at least this is cool when we hit like these small towns and stuff and meet these people. Is at least we're gonna meet. At least we have met a nice person like that, and maybe it'll continue. So it was a good experience. And after that, we left Bellingham, and I think we stopped at like a store. We found like a camping supply store or something like that, like a Bill Jackson's or something. Yeah. We stopped there, and I forget what we bought there, but me and Tony went, and I think Cody was like, I'll just stay and watch the packs because it was like 2 miles out of the way. So he just stayed under a tree, and me and Tony like went and left our backpacks there and went to the store, but I don't remember what we bought there. I think there's something, I don't remember. I think,
bought a bag of gummy worms that you still have to this day.
Yeah, and we definitely wanted them from that certain store.
Yep.
There's no way we were going to get them at a Rite Aid. Not those gummy worms.
I got to say, I'm with your buddy that stayed under the tree at certain aspects. And like, you know what? I really don't need to go down there. So
yeah, I know.
So I'm going to chill under this tree.
Dude, I understood it. Like that was kind of the thing. I noticed because like Cody and Tony went to like Jack in the Box while I stayed with the backpacks at Starbucks. Yeah. So then he stays under the tree while me and Tony go to do this. It's just like there's always one person that was just like the third wheel and like stayed back with the backpacks, and everybody
they either said something along the lines of like, yeah, go ahead and go, and inside they're like, I'm gonna kill both of them.
I know. Well, you know what? And this was the thing is this was the third day now that we were around each other 24 hours.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that we were like annoyed with each other, but you could tell that it was like a different dynamic. Like these were my friends for a long time, and it just kind of felt weird being around them for 72 hours now straight. Granted, we've been on vacations together and stuff like that, but it was weird sharing a tent with them, being around them the whole time. It was, I don't know. I could feel like it was weird. It was just weird.
There are very few individuals I can think of that I could last across the entire country with.
It's hard, man. I mean, we're gonna get to that stuff, but it's hard.
Like I said, I mean, I stink, dude. When I roll up and get out of bed in the morning, I start to sweat a little bit. That's maybe an exaggeration, but I mean, like, I don't know. I'm an athletic guy, and when I get out and I get going, I sweat a ton. I don't know what it is.
Right.
So, like, I imagine I'm walking for an hour, I'm already just covered in sweat.
Oh yeah,
and feeling good. Mm-hmm. But like, if I smell somebody else, I'm gonna be like, let me get in front of you, please,
dude. And we were all in the same tent. Yeah, it's. But you know what? The smell actually didn't bother me that much. It wasn't like, I don't know, because probably we all smell. I always think about that for like, back in the day in like the 18 and 1700s and some like people living in castles where they would take a bath and stuff, but they didn't do it every day, and like. The smells, man. The smells back then had to be bad. And that's, God. I don't know. So, like, I don't know. It didn't really affect me, but...
And it's not like back then they could go in and hose off whatever stink was around.
Yeah, no.
They had to throw a bucket of water at it and pray for the best.
And the latrine and everything was not an easily... you couldn't flush it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's just what I imagine.
About 6 or 7 people pooed in there before you, so jump right on in.
It's like a porta potty, man.
The water's fine.
No, but it was day 3. Maybe we didn't smell that bad. Plus, we took a shower, and it was funny. I remember Cody getting out of the shower and be like, dang, man, like, that felt nice. Like, it's been so long since we took a shower. I'm like, dude, it's been 3 days. Like, we've been on this trip for 3 days. When was your last shower?
Right.
But I think he just meant because it felt good and refreshing after walking for 3 days.
Right.
But, no, it was cool. And then after that, we left Bellingham, and we actually headed towards It's called Lake Whatcom, I think is how you pronounce it. And it's just this kind of lake with a bunch of like these like small little cutesy houses like along the edge and stuff like that. And a lot of like there's a lot of older people like when we were walking around just like outside.
It's like
chilling.
that vacation spot, the lake house
like nice,
that you got.
It was nice, calm.
Area.
Yeah, it like
right.
had the boardwalks were out into the lake.
Yeah.
And it was a nice little area. And we actually met 2 other people there, and they're like this older couple. And I remember we were walking by, and Tony just was like, "I'm just going to ask them if like this is the best way to go," even though we were like looking at the map.
My property.
And they just killed us. No, they were like. They like helped us out a little bit. They asked us what we were doing, and then they're like, "Oh no, sit down and."
Oh gosh,
I know, I just knocked the mic. They said, "Sit down and have some water, some sparkling water with cucumber," and they're like, "Oh, and we have some trail mix. Do you want some trail mix?" So we're like, "Sure." So we sat there and talked to them for a while, and this was like all within the first week. That like now we met these people, and they were all really nice and stuff like that. So I was like. After that week of like talking to like meeting Jesse and then meeting this couple and like sleeping on the side of the road and stuff like that, like nothing really bad happened. And I was like, I really hope it continues this way.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for.
I hope everything stays on this peaceful
the
path.
peaceful. Yeah. I mean, like granted it was raining and it wasn't always easy to walk through, but it was still cool.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, who says, I really hope this trip gets shitty right after this.
Well, no, but that is something I kept telling Tony and Cody, because Tony was like in high spirits. He was like, "This is awesome. Like, it's gonna like
Right.
this walk is great and stuff." And I go like, "Okay, but just remember that if we hit something, there's always going to be like a worse day. Like something, we might hit a storm, we might hit some bad people, like
So
something might happen."
He was trying to stay in good spirits, and
I
you
was bringing him down.
promptly shut him down. Hey man, this is gonna be a great trip. Yeah, but listen, dude.
But here's the bad
Listen,
things that might
blister
happen.
on your ankle isn't getting any smaller. You know what I mean?
No, I try to remain realistic. I was just like, no, this is great, but just remember, like, it's probably not all gonna be like this.
Don't be happy.
Just
Don't be happy, boys.
I don't know. Maybe that's just my mentality.
No, it's okay. I understand. You didn't want it to hit everybody like a ton of bricks.
Well, that is something that happened later on when things would get really bad. It would be like kind of that thing that hits you, and you're just like, why am I doing this?
Right.
And like, I didn't want to have that mentality. I wanted to keep it realistic. Like, there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, just like with regular life. Like, it's just going to be that way. You just got to be ready to accept whatever is thrown your way.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to do. I didn't want them to be like too super like yippee. You know what I mean?
Everything's gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
Follow the yellow
But
brick road.
it was a good like first week, and like I remember like because we met those people, I was like, it's not too bad. It was boring. I think we realized at that point, it like the first like 5 days of walking, we're like, it's kind of boring because we're walking single file. We're not like really talking because we can't like all stand on the side of the road. Some of the roads were narrow, so we just walked single file, listening to our iPods,
not holding hands,
and every once in a while we'd take a break and sit down and talk. But other than that, I think we were realizing this is going to be like a trek, but hopefully if we meet people like we've been meeting, it'd be a fun trek. We'll see.
And in next week's episode,
Robert
Robert and the boys run into another group walking across the country.
And Robert just destroys them. And says, "What are you doing?" Crushes their dreams, and they quit.
Yep.
Yeah.
He tells them horror stories that aren't true, cuts one of their Achilles tendons.
Okay, in all seriousness, though, and I've always wondered this, where do you draw the line between, like, realism, optimism, and, like, pessimism? Like,
Ooh.
like if I say, like, like how I'm saying you're, like, joking around, like, man, you just brought him down and shit like that. But is it being realistic about the trek, or is it being, like, pessimistic and being like, don't get your hopes up?
I have a feeling that realistic would be commenting on what's happening right then. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, well, this day is going to be great. Oh, yeah, well, it's 75 degrees outside, and there's no wind blowing, so we're okay.
Right.
That's being real, but like saying
so it's
going to suck.
Well, I never said it was going to suck.
It's going to be terrible, Tony.
I never said it was going to suck. I thought it was going to be great. For me, and I think it's because me, Cody, and Tony were all kind of doing the trip in different ways. Like, for Tony, it was the challenge. Like, he liked I want to do the challenge. Like,
Yeah.
I want it to be hard. Like, that's why he's like, I'm not going to get a backpack with wheels and stuff. Like, I want to carry my backpack the whole way. Even if it's a struggle, I want to do it. And then, like, Cody, I'm not too sure. I think Cody just wanted to kind of do something with us. Like, and this is just my perception. I don't even know if I'm right. I think he just wanted to do something as a group and do something like also
do something
kind of
epic.
challenging.
Do something epic.
Just a story. For me, I wanted to do something different. Like, I wanted to do something that like not many people can say they've done.
Right.
It wasn't really the challenge. It was more of like, I want to do something that like people can't say they've done this, and it's something that I can tell my kids or grandkids later on. You know, it's something unique.
Yeah.
So like we all had our different versions of it. So for me, I didn't think I was being pessimistic. I was just like, don't get your hopes up. Like, because like he would say like like Tony and Cody would be like, oh, this is kind of boring today. Like, oh, like, you know, let's take another break or something, like whatever it was. And I would just be like, yeah, but this is it. Like, this is the walk. Like, it's gonna get boring. Like, just it's something that we're just gonna have to get used to.
I think the difference between being realistic and pessimistic is the speculation of it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I never thought it was going to be like bad.
And I'm not saying that you were trying to bring your friends down, although that is very funny to me. But,
no, I know.
You know, you do have to be realistic, and that kind of stuff would be there for me at the very beginning. I'd be like, okay, dudes,
right?
Just know at some point during this trip, I'm going to hate you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to want...
That was something I said, like, I remember saying that before we left for the walk. I'm like, there's going to be times where we're annoyed with each other and we're just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Separate.
Yep.
Walks, like, a few more yards back, like, behind each other. Whatever we have to do, just deal with it. But I'm like, the same with weather. Like, we're going to hit weather that's bad and slows us down, and we're not going to have... Yeah. And trust me, there were times where I'm just like...
Screw this.
This sucks, man.
Yeah.
This sucks.
You know, so just for our listeners there, if you want our homework here, how would you feel going into this walk? You know what I mean? Would you be looking for the challenge? Or I think it would be me.
The challenge?
Yeah, the challenge of it. I think that would be what drove me to do it.
Right.
Yeah. So, what would it be? What would your mindset going into this kind of crazy nonsense? I know a couple of the people that say they want to listen to this. I know exactly how they are.
Yeah.
And you know, one of my buddies, he wants to do the Appalachian Trail, and I mean, I want to do it with him. That'd be great.
Right.
But I don't know.
See, I think the Appalachian Trail is actually more of a challenge than what I did, in the sense that you do have to carry the whole thing. There's no roads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's probably a little bit shorter of a distance, but not by much.
Yeah.
And if you do the whole thing, not everybody does the whole thing. Sometimes, you know, they only go for like so many, like a month or something like that. But but it's a lot of hiking up and down. Granted, you know, I hit roads and stuff, but you know, a lot of like elevation and shit, but I still hit roads. Like, I was able to walk on roads. I was never lost. It wasn't like,
with
like
technology,
survival kind of thing.
Of course. All right. Well, man, that was a good one. That one went a little bit longer. That was episode 5. Ladies and gentlemen, just for our shameless plug that happens weekly, you can find us and all of our wonderful content at www.7lamb.com. That is the number 7lamb.com. Facebook.com/7 Lamb Podcast. I know last time I said /. I don't know what it is. It's a /, okay? Sue me. You can hit us on Twitter at 7 Lamb Podcasts. You can hit us at Gmail at 7lambpodcasts@gmail.com. Or you can find all the rest of our fictional and non-fictional content at www.blogtalkradio.com / or /. You understand, whatever it is. / At 7 Lamb, blogtalkradio.com /7 Lamb, and that is SEVEN. No, Robert has not changed it yet. I don't know when he's going to. Stop asking.
I don't know if he's going to.
Everybody, just come on, tweet at us and tell us how much you really hate the fact that 7 is different from all the rest of them.
Listen, you know what? I actually had the 7 SEVEN for the email too.
Yeah.
But then because everything else was 7, I switched it, so I was able to do that. But I'll try to do the same for Blog Talk. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, all of you have a wonderful, wonderful day, beautiful babies, and I'll catch up with you later.
This has been a Seven Lamb production.